All right, welcome back. It's time for the lifestyle segment. Today we're all about nutrition. Remember, Mondays are all about nutrition with our favorite nutritionist, that is Emily Wahome, and she's here exactly on time to ensure that we get to, grasp a bit of knowledge from her. Today we're all about the mamas out there, and we're talking about exclusive breastfeeding, and our main focus is just how much you're able to sustain the same. The mothers out there will tell you that it is hectic. At that particular time is 3 months now. You have to go back to the office, and now you start thinking, how do I ensure that my baby exclusively breastfeeds? How do I get enough milk for myself or for the baby, so at least there's even surplus for that matter? How do you store your milk? All these questions I'm sure you must be having, and that's the reason why we have her this morning. So for the next about 30 minutes or so, it will be all about learning that. Emily, good morning.
Good morning, Linda.
I am taking enough water as promised last week.
I can see.
Good. I can honestly tell you that this thing is like magic. It works like almost overnight. Sometimes you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, wow, something is happening. So I think it's important that we sometimes pick up some of the lessons that we get here. They are paid for somewhere else, but here we're giving it for free.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so here we go. Exclusive breastfeeding is one thing that many mothers will tell you is a hassle, especially if you're a mother and you have, probably people around you, or the oldies surrounding you, the oldies who never used to do exclusive breastfeeding. They would want to trick your mind. They would want to twist you from that mentality of exclusive breastfeeding is good. So just to kick us off, last month was, I think, breastfeeding awareness month. And we spoke so much about, the babies and the importance of them, breastfeeding and all that. But this particular one that we did not touch much on is just how best do you sustain exclusive breastfeeding. So the ball is on your court.
All right. What a wonderful morning.
Yeah.
This topic is actually very close to my heart because I'm also a mother. I've breastfed exclusively 3 babies now.
Wow.
And it's actually an amazing experience. And I think every woman out there, they want to do this for their baby, because I believe by the time you deliver your baby, you really want the best for them.
Yeah.
And a lot has been done in terms of education on benefits of breast milk to the babies, and also benefits of breastfeeding to the mother. So the knowledge we have, but now sometimes we have challenges. The challenges come in, and I think what we want to speak about, Linda, like you said, we want to really practically show mothers, especially those who return to work after the 90 working days, because I think that's a policy in Kenya.
Yes.
I think it's rare that you'll find a mother staying for 6 months at home with a baby. We have to return back to work after 3 months. So how do I sustain the exclusive breastfeeding after I go back to work? So I think the first thing that we start with is as the mother nears delivery, she needs to be psychologically prepared for this breastfeeding experience. She needs to have support, like you said, from the family. So because one of the things that really affects breastfeeding is when the mother has like postpartum depression or she's having stress. That really affects the letdown of milk. So she needs a lot of support from her family, the people who are around her, so that then she's comfortable and then she'll be able to breastfeed. So before I go to how to sustain, I think let me mention the benefits of breast milk to the baby, just a few. So when a baby is born, it is recommended by World Health Organization that the baby is introduced to the breast within 1 hour after birth. Why is this so? It's because the first milk that the mother produces, the one that we call colostrum, has some benefits that the baby needs. Remember, the baby is used to this controlled environment in the womb that doesn't have microorganisms and all that. But when the baby is born, then it comes to the world where there's a lot of all these microorganisms and all that. So the first milk that we call colostrum actually contains what we call antibodies that then start building the delicate immune system of the baby, so then they don't start getting infections. And also when we introduce within the first 1 hour, remember the suckling reflex is initiated by the suckling of the baby. Once the baby starts suckles, then the hormones are stimulated. They are released, the oxytocin hormone specifically, so that then the milk can start flowing. So if a mother gives birth and stays for too long without initiating breastfeeding, then she might have challenges of milk let down.
Okay.
So that is quite advised. So even the caregivers at the hospital, nowadays, they are advised not to keep the baby away from the mother. So long as the mother is conscious, she's able to hold the baby and breastfeed, as much as possible, let the mother have contact with the baby almost immediately after birth. Actually, immediately after birth, if you are having a normal birth, you initiate breastfeeding. If you are a cesarean section, then immediately the mother is conscious, the caregivers at the hospital are supposed to attach the baby to the mother. So then they start interacting with the baby, they start the skin-to-skin contact, the baby starts suckling, so that the let down starts. So some of the benefit is that the building up of the immune system, so that then the baby is starts protecting, or they start being protected from the harmful microorganisms that exist. Then the other thing is when it comes to development, the milestones that we see the child having from one milestone to another, then they are really pegged on breast milk, because breast milk is a complete nutrition. You don't need to add anything to it. It has all the nutrients that the baby needs for the first 6 months. So the mother doesn't have to worry, my baby is not getting enough water, is thirsty, my baby is not getting enough protein, my baby is not getting enough carbohydrates. Breast milk for the first 6 months gives all the nutrients that the baby will need for 6 months. And that's the reason why we introduce the complementary foods at 6 months. Because now at 6 months, because of the growth, then the breast milk will not now continue providing the same, the right amount of energy and protein. But for the first 6 months, the breast milk has all the nutrients that the baby needs.
Medicine. And sometimes then you're told, okay, well, the baby there's colic, and there's need to give them grip water, there's need to give them, sometimes you're even told, give them things like, some bit of lemon juice, some bit of honey, some bit of different, things that would be considered as medicine. So at least it comes in handy to, give them that comfort that they require. And true to it works. I just don't know how dangerous that is, or how good that is, or how necessary that is, now that you speak of the mama's milk having all the nutrients that are needed.
Okay, now maybe I didn't define what exclusive breastfeeding is.
Yes.
Exclusive breastfeeding is giving breast milk only.
101%.
100% breast milk only, without anything else, apart from if the baby gets unwell, then the baby the doctor or pediatrician or the physician prescribes a medication, because the baby may fall ill, may get an infection. That is the only thing that the baby could be given. But anything else out there that the mother starts giving, the grandmother says you give this, I don't know, a concoction of ash and whatever, some funny things, some herbs, that now interferes with exclusive breastfeeding. And when it comes to colic, because I know mothers speak about it, which is discomfort in a baby's gut. One of the things that we are supposed to understand is that most of the time colic is worsened by how breastfeeding is done. It's basically the air that the baby swallows in the process of suckling. So I am going to be speaking about how you position the baby during breastfeeding. So if the baby does not take in the nipple plus the areola, which is the dark part of a woman's breast, into their mouth, in the process of suckling, first of all, they are not comfortable, because then the milk letdown is interfered with because of wrong latching on. Then the baby swallows so much gas when they are breastfeeding. But if you latch on properly, and then after feeding the baby, we know there's the burping process, whereby we hold the baby up, we pat their back until they let out the wind. If you do that, then the baby is not supposed to really suffer from colic. The other advantage is that breast milk is easily digested. It's easily digested, and also contains something we call immunoglobulins. And these help to prevent inflammation in the gut of the baby, in the intestines. So really, breast milk is also protective. Even issues of digestion, when the baby is on exclusive breastfeeding, they suffer less from digestive issues and the constipation and colic. When we compare breast milk and other infant feeds, like the NAN and all that we have. Breast milk substitute. So really, other things really spoils what you are calling exclusive breastfeeding. So the mother is only supposed to give breast milk from birth up to 6 months without giving water or anything else, unless a prescription from the doctor if the baby is unwell. Yes.
So, right, the foods that the mother is supposed to eat, because in most cases, if we are sick to get these nutrients that we're speaking about, then clearly whatever it is that the mother takes in should be very, very, very balanced, should be very, very good in terms of, providing the nutrients that are needed. So, what is the importance of a mother feeding well at that point of exclusive breastfeeding?
Okay, the first thing is that breastfeeding leads to you burn a lot of calories during breastfeeding.
Okay.
Actually, we usually allow extra 500 kilocalories for mothers who are breastfeeding, especially when you are doing exclusive breastfeeding for the first 6 months, because you see now you'll be producing a lot of milk. So it means that you'll be burning a lot of calories. But then going back to the discussions we've had previously, the quality of food that you're eating, how nutritious the foods are, is very important. I know sometimes we are told we are eating for two. So sometimes we get that notion that I can have like 2 plates of food. The one I was eating now I have to overeat. And that's the reason why sometimes mothers who are breastfeeding, even during pregnancy, you didn't have too much weight. Then when you come to breastfeeding, you gain weight excessively. It's because of that. You just need to have your normal meals. If you're having a healthy diet before, during pregnancy, then it shouldn't change much during the breastfeeding time. So you're just supposed to continue having your healthy diet, having carbohydrate, a quality carbohydrate of whole grain, like we've said previously. Have plenty of vegetables, like we've said. Have your fruits. Hydration. One of the reasons why most mothers don't produce enough milk is because they are dehydrated. They do not drink water. Most of them have flasks in front of them the whole day of porridge, of tea, of chocolate, drinking chocolate, of soup, all those things. That is not bad. But you may be taking excessive of that, and forgetting these magic drink that we call water. Now, breast milk is 80% water. Then now you get other nutrients. Actually, we call it the 4 milk. The 4 milk is the milk that comes in fast when the baby starts breastfeeding. If you look at it, it's a colorless liquid. But
in most cases, we want to let go of that. And I mean, I have seen mothers doing that, sometimes you're told, okay, well, if you have so much milk and maybe there's that breast engorgement and all that, so you tend to like pour off the fast milk, that is the colorless one, and then now you get to that one that is a bit yellowish and darkish. Is that?
No, Linda, that is so wrong. Because the 4 milk is first of all the one that quenches the baby's thirst. So as you start breastfeeding, the baby first quenches the thirst. As you continue breastfeeding, now the baby starts getting the hind milk. Now the hind milk is one now that has the proteins, the vitamins, the minerals, and that's the reason why we usually say you breastfeed on one breast until the baby is full. Then the next time you shift to the next breast, or until you feel it's empty. When a woman is breastfeeding, you're able to tell when the breast that you're breastfeeding on is now empty, and therefore now you can change the baby to the other breast. And then the other thing is that you don't you allow the baby to feed until they are full. They are the ones who should signal coming out of the breast. You're not the one as a mother who now decides, let me remove this baby from this breast and forcefully. Sometimes mothers just pull away the baby from the breast, like I'm going to pick a call, or I'm interrupted, I just pull away the baby from the breast. That is not recommended. You're supposed to give attention to your baby during breastfeeding. I know smartphones, they have really interfered with everything that we do. So you're not even looking at the baby. Those of us who have breastfed, we know that is usually a bonding moment. As the baby is breastfeeding, they are smiling at you, they are looking at your eyes, direct into your eye, they are bonding with you. And one of the advantages of breastfeeding is the bond that the mom and the baby gets. It's a bond that it's magical. That's a relationship between a mother and a baby, and it's actually psychological for both the baby and the mom. The baby feels so warm, feels protected, and the mother also feels comfortable because they can see the baby is happy, the baby is well. So that one of pouring milk, breast milk is gold. You can't throw it away.
So in most cases, you find that there are kids who really, I don't know whether their appetite is low or something. I mean, some parents have been forced to get multivitamins just to get them, breastfeed to the maximum. So you find that probably when they start breastfeeding, they'll just focus on the 4 milk, and before you know it, before they even get to the middle or the hind one, they are already full and they do not want to breastfeed. So what do you do in such a scenario?
Okay, I know that is what discourages babies from breastfeeding actually is what I call latching on. When the baby just takes in the nipple, they really get tired. These muscles really get tired because they're really trying to suckle and pull so that the milk starts coming out.
All right.
So they get discouraged.
So we're talking now about the positioning on how,
There's no, it is, unless the baby has a medical problem, naturally the babies are born with the suckling reflex. Yeah, immediately the baby is born, comes from the uterus like this, and they're put on the breast. It's magical. They start breastfeeding.
It's automatic.
They are born with a suckling reflex. And then, unless the baby is a premature baby or they have a medical problem that probably the health professionals will be able to help the baby with to start suckling. But if you see your baby not suckling, they could be having a problem.
Yeah.
And if you've positioned the baby properly and you latch on and they're still not breastfeeding, you should see a pediatrician because there must be a problem.
All right.
The baby should be able to breastfeed adequately, but if you're just giving the baby the nipple, the baby really gets tired, they get frustrated because the milk is not coming out. And therefore, most mothers, when they come to clinics, actually, we usually notice that is a problem. The mother only gives the baby the nipple, and the baby is not able to suckle adequately, and they give up. And also, because of doing that, then you start getting the breast issues like cracked nipples, sore nipples, because the baby now is pulling it so much, they may hurt you. And breastfeeding actually should be very comfortable. If you're having pain during breastfeeding, it should
even the first days, the first week maybe?
Yes, unless there's engorgement. If there's engorgement or you have a breast infection, or you're giving the baby the nipple, you will feel pain. But if you're latching on the baby very well and you're not engorged, then you should not have pain. It should be a very comfortable experience. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's now talk after 3 months, and I have done whatever it is I'm supposed to do at home, and now it's time that I have to go back to the office.
Yes.
And yes, the paternity, the 14 days paternity are out also, and I have to leave my baby back at home with somebody else. I mean, at least we do not all have the privileges of having, nurseries in our work institutions and all that. So. How do we go about this? How do we ensure that our baby gets enough? How do we ensure that there's enough storage for them? How do we even store this milk safe enough for the baby's consumption?
That's a good one, Linda. Before I come to that, let me just finish up on the benefits.
Yes.
We had talked about how the breast milk contains substances that build the baby's immune system.
Yeah.
So as a mother, you'll not keep running to the pediatrician, especially with upper respiratory tract infections. We know children who are young, below 5 years, most of their issues are actually upper respiratory tract infections. They keep getting tonsils or throat infections, ear infections. There's research that has been done. Those children who are exclusively breastfed, they suffer less from that. They suffer less from asthma and things like allergies. Different allergies. They suffer less from that. And of course, the milestones. Children who have been breastfed exclusively, they gain their weight adequately, they'll achieve their milestones adequately, their brain development will be so good, even things like delayed speech. So long as the baby was born normal, they will not have this. And of course, we have said that breast milk has all the nutrients. So issues of deficiency will not come in if the baby is exclusively breastfed. For the mother, very important, research has been done for mothers who breastfeed. First of all, the pregnancy weight, you're able to lose it adequately.
Right.
Yeah, because we have said that during breastfeeding you are able to burn quite an amount of calories. So you lose the pregnancy weight quite fast, even without a lot of struggle. And then also research has been done that those mothers who breastfeed, the risks of ovarian cancer, cancer of the uterus, breast cancer, considerably go down. And including even osteoarthritis.
So the benefits are two-way also.
Yes, so the benefits are two-way. So I think as ladies, we really need to consider this for our own benefits and the benefits of the babies. So the benefits are so many. I've just outlined a few. So when it comes to sustaining exclusive breastfeeding, especially when you go back to work, I have done it practically, and actually it's very possible. But you have to do what we call harvesting breast milk. Because as the baby grows bigger or older, the demand for breast milk becomes more. During the first month, you have not harvested the milk. When the milk was so much, then you may not be able to sustain that appetite for this baby who is 5.5 months heading to 6 months. So my experience is that the first 6 months after delivery, the milk is too much and the baby is not to blocked ducts, you know, they go through a breast infection because the breasts are always full and they're very uncomfortable. Sometimes actually even get fever because of this, and it's a discomfort. Hand expressing it takes more longer time and also takes more time, but even hand expressing is done. So anytime your baby is asleep, is not feeding, and your breasts are engorged or you feel they are full, go and express your breast milk. Then there are some storage containers that are available in the market, and we usually advise a plastic container or a glass container that are available in the market, and usually get containers that are not more than 200 ml, because remember, you'll be I'm going to speak about storing. You'll be removing them from the storage, and then you have to use them up without taking them back to the freezer. So every time you express, you put the milk there. Of course, the bottle has been cleaned and sterilized. You put the milk there, then you label, so that then when you put it in your freezer, then you're able to know what came in earlier or what came in fast. You bring it out fast to feed the baby. So when you harvest the milk the first 2 months, it means that you're going to have enough storage by the time that you're going back to work.
And this is safe 100%. But now this has to be refrigerated.
This has, what happens is that in the freezer, in the normal freezer, not in the freezer, in the refrigerator, you can keep the milk up to 4 days. But if you want to store the milk for longer, like for months, in the deep freezer, that is a deep freezer that is equivalent to around negative 18 degrees centigrade. Most of our freezers are around that in the market. So you're able to store that milk safely for, the best is up to 6 months, but even up to 12 months is acceptable. And have done it, so I'm speaking from experience. The milk that I usually harvest in the early days of delivery, I give my baby up to 1 year. Because even after I start complementary feeding, I don't even introduce cow's milk at that point. I like it because I have a lot of storage, I give my baby breast milk up to 1 year without introducing any other kind of milk. Because it's a superior food. It's such good food. I cannot even compare it to cow's milk. So it beats logic if I have it to give the baby the cow's milk. So I give up to 1 year. So I store it, I've actually stored it up to 1 year, and I've given to the baby. It is safe. It doesn't harm the baby in any way. So what is important is harvesting. That time when you've delivered and you have so much milk, please don't go to the bathroom and pour that milk out and flush it out into the drainage. Don't pour it. Just express it. Buy the containers, put the milk there, and then if you have a freezer, store it in the freezer. Then you can use it now when you go back to work. So what happens if you know that your baby is using like 200 ml, 4 or 5, you thaw them. So like you can remove them the previous night, put it in the now refrigerator on a kitchen counter, it thaws, and then warming is the other thing. You're not supposed to put breast milk in a microwave. I know most of us now, we are warming our food in microwave. Don't put it there, because it gets some hot spots. You know, there are some spots that are hot, others are cold. That can burn the baby. It also destroys some of the important nutrients that we are talking about. So you're supposed to thaw the milk, and then the warming process, you pick a hot water bath and insert the bottle in hot water bath. And then after it warms, you're supposed to mix the milk, because what happens when you store the milk, the fat comes up, just like cow's milk. So you find the yellow thing on top, and then the watery, colorless on the bottom. So what you do before feeding, after you've warmed, you're supposed to mix the milk. You can shake the bottle, then put it in the feeding bottle or in the cup that you're feeding the baby with, and then you feed. To test the temperature, it's advisable you put a drop of milk on this side of your hand. Then you test. It should not be hot. It should be lukewarm. Then you feed the baby. Then in the process of the feeding, if the baby does not finish that milk, also you don't have to discard, but you can use it within 2 hours. You can use it within 2 hours after that first feed. And after 2 hours, you can discard that and now get another set of container and feed the baby.
Such a delicate balance, so to speak, and prone to germs highly, because I mean, from the mom to the baby, sometimes it's direct, really, there's not much of exposure. But in this case, there's so much exposure. Just how best do you handle this? How best do you ensure even the people who help you handle are not going to in any way bring some impurities in this milk?
Thank you so much for that. Okay, we know in any food handling, personal hygiene is very important. But the other advantage with breast milk, we've talked about these antibodies that are in the milk that are really going to protect the baby against infection. So there's already that advantage.
Yeah.
But of course, personal hygiene has to be maintained.
Right.
And what I usually tell mothers, if possible, and I think it is possible, the feeding bottles or the cups, I can actually be able to clean them and sterilize them myself.
Yeah.
If I feel the person I am with may not do it adequately. So before I leave for work, I can do that. I can clean up my bottles, I can clean up my cups and spoons and sterilize them. And then, of course, the nanny I'm with, it's important to educate them about the importance of personal hygiene. Yeah. That is cleaning their hands every time before they feed the baby. Yeah. Then that way, we'll not have issues of contamination. And then this, whatever they are feeding with, once they are through with it, they don't use it again. The milk is put in portions in which the baby will be fed. So if there's a first portion in the morning, once I'm through with that, I put the bottle away. Then the next time I'm picking another
bottle.
Yeah, I just open another bottle and then feed the baby. Yeah, and of course you don't leave the bottles exposed. Yeah, once the baby feeds and you have to use it again, you cover it. Fortunately, the containers we have, all of them have a cover on top to cover the teat if you're using the teat. Yeah, but over time, mothers have been advised, if possible, to use cups.
Avoid the teats. That was my next question.
Because of cleaning.
Okay.
Yeah, because most people are not able to clean. The way the teats are constructed, if you're not careful to clean inside where the baby suckles, then some microorganisms may collect there. The cup is more safe, but some babies may have issues with using the cup. If the bottle and the teat is cleaned properly and sterilized, you will not have issues of diarrhea. Yeah, and I'm speaking from experience because I have had it. I've used bottles and I've not had issues with my babies having diarrhea. But then the reason I'm saying probably a mother can do this by themselves, probably that's the only time you'll be sure that the bottle is clean enough and is properly sterilized. Yeah, you can actually do that for your baby and it will be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so at what point then do you say, okay, enough with, 6 months at least we know with exclusive, introducing the baby to, the weaning processes, and eventually at what point then do you say over and done with breastfeeding? Okay. Now, the recommendation is that we do exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months without giving baby anything. I think that we've already agreed. Yes. But now at 6 months, when a baby turns 6 months, we need to start introducing the solid foods. Yeah. And we are supposed to introduce the solid foods gradually. That day now, most mothers are so happy. Now the baby can feed. Yeah. I'm off. The excitement is real. The excitement is real. But even at 6 months, breastfeeding remains the biggest part of the baby's meal. Yeah. So you are going to introduce solid foods gradually and in small amounts. Because remember, baby's stomach is still small. So I cannot expect that now when my baby turns 6 months, I'm going to sit with a full bowl of food or a full cup of porridge, and I expect that's forcing the baby to take it. Yeah. And also we usually say at this period, the solid food should not replace breast milk completely. Yeah. The mother should still continue breastfeeding and then give, even you can start with 2 feeds, just 2 feeds of solid, whether it's porridge or another puree that you've made or a soup at 6 months. Okay. And then you go increasing the amount as the baby grows older. So the recommendation is we breastfeed at least up to 2 years and ahead. And so long as the mother is producing milk, I don't see why you should deny your baby the breast milk. Okay. Yeah? So even after they turn 2 years, you don't have to remove them from the breast. Of course, because now they are like a baby at 2 years, by this time now they are feeding more, they will breastfeed less. But so long as the baby wants to breastfeed, continue breastfeeding the baby until the time the baby will officially decide that I am not breastfeeding anymore. Most of them just stop by themselves. Yeah. So sometimes babies go through a lot of stress, especially when the mother wants to just remove the baby from the breast abruptly. They really they get stressed because to them it's more of a bonding. Like I have a 2 months old girl. She's still breastfeeding. I have not removed her from the breast. What I've realized is, for now, it's not more food to her because she's eating other foods. It's more of a bonding time and comfort. They feel very comfortable in the warmth. So I don't see why I should abruptly just remove her from the breast. Some others apply pepper on their breast to discourage the baby, and some crazy things that we do. I think it's not fair for the baby. So long as you're healthy, there's some breast milk coming in, the baby eventually will And
of
in
breastfeeding.
30 seconds or so, as
Yes.
we wind up,
Yes.
cleaning your breasts.
Yeah.
Especially now when you're going to the office, of course, you'll need something, antiperspirant, you'll need to have, your spray, you'll need to have your roll-on and all these things, and you're out there.
Yeah.
Then you come back home. How do you get to clean your, how do you ensure that your breasts are clean enough for breastfeeding?
What I can say is that once you take a shower, that is enough.
Oh, yeah?
You see, I used to see our mothers when we were young, they kept cleaning
Yes,
the breast
every other
during the
second.
day. When they come from wherever they are, they're cleaning the breast.
Yeah.
In the process of keeping on cleaning the breast, actually you can contaminate it if your hands are not clean. So what I would advise and the practice is that if you are at work and you get home, just go and have the normal shower you usually have.
Right.
Then, of course, you first wash hands when you get home to get rid of any microorganisms that you may be carrying with you from your hands. Then take a shower and come and breastfeed your baby. That is adequate.
Okay.
If I'm in the house and have not gone out, I'm just there with the baby, and have taken a shower in the morning, I don't have to keep cleaning my breasts. A shower in the morning and I'm in the house during my maternity leave, I don't have to keep cleaning my breast. Those clothes that we keep wiping, they are the ones that may introduce microorganisms on your breast. A shower is enough to go.
Thank you.
Able to
Thank you
breastfeed.
so much, Emily Wahome. That's great. I mean, I have picked something over all the years that I've breastfed. There are things that I never knew, honestly, and I am grateful for that, and I'm sure most of the people are grateful for the same. So as we get to wind up, unless there's anything that we've not touched on that you really would feel that is important for the people, I think it's now time that we get to wind up on this one, on this particular note.
All right. Thank you so much, Linda. I think as we go is that breastfeeding is possible for all women, unless you have a medical problem, that's one.
Yeah.
Most women worry, is my baby going to get full?
Right.
Will the breast milk be enough? There's that notion
yes,
at
that
the
it's
back
never
of every
enough.
woman's mind. Is my baby, every time the baby cries, they now say my baby is hungry. My baby is not having enough. I want to tell you that so long as you're having your healthy meal, you're hydrating. In breastfeeding, actually, you have to take even more than 2 liters of water. Because I've said that breast milk is 80% water. So if you are dehydrated, you may not produce enough.
Right.
So long as you're latching on the baby properly, you're positioning the baby properly, you're comfortable, you're not stressed, you're having your healthy meal, you're hydrating adequately, every woman has the capability of producing enough milk for their baby. And breast milk is enough for the 6 months. You don't need to add any other food for the baby.
Right.
And the baby will add their weight adequately, and even the milestones will be amazing if you breastfeed your baby.
Amazing.
So I think this is gold that we should not deny our baby. So long as you're healthy, you're strong, and you have breast milk, not deny your baby that golden food that God has given us, and it's for free.
Yeah, it is for free, honestly. By the way,
the breast milk substitutes are quite expensive.
Right.
Yeah, but breast milk is free.
Yeah.
So you can save that money and use it to buy a good shoe for yourself, a dress, as you
to
get
love
back
yourself, as
into
you get
shape
back to
after
shape.
delivery. Yeah. So the advantages are amazing.